So just having that negotiation and the conversation, right? A brand comes to you and they say, hey, we want to do a sponsored post. What does that process look like for you?
Yeah, so usually, I'll get an email, and it's funny, like starting out, I had no idea how much I should be charging, like what I should be doing. There's not a lot of information out there. It's really hard to like figure out. So I look back at my first sponsorships and I'm like, oh man, I was getting ripped off, but I just didn't know. Usually the process of that is like, I will know in the first email if I'm going to say yes or no, because they'll give me a little background about who they are, what they do. And honestly, like some of the turnoffs for me are like, if people don't know who my audience is, if they have no idea what kind of content I post, like some fashion brands reach out to me and say, oh, we love your style, we love your content, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, clearly you just see that I'm a girl and you think that I'm posting like fashion stuff, which I love fashion, but it wouldn't make sense to post on my TikTok. That's not why people follow me. So I think it's a turnoff when brands sort of don't know what you're about and what your audience is. So I will definitely kind of weed out ones that I think do not match up with my brand, I guess. So yeah, if I see a brand that I like, and honestly, I like want to enjoy the product, I'll do a little bit of research on the business or the product or the service or whatever. And if I think it's something that my audience would find value, and I think that's the biggest key. It's like, if I enjoy it, yes, but if I think it's something that my audience will like a lot of my audience is small businesses, so maybe they'll like things that even are a little bit different than I like, but I think it could help them. So that's kind of what I'll say yes to. And then negotiation wise, like I'm very fortunate that like recently I got signed with an influencer agency who has helped me a lot with that side of things, because I had no idea. And I think a lot of creators don't have any idea, but it's a big mindset switch, especially from going from like a regular, the business of trading time for money. And now all of a sudden a company wants to pay you $1,000 to make a TikTok. And you're like, oh my God, this is only going to take me 20 minutes to make. That is like an insane thought, but there's so much more behind it. Like it's not just you making a TikTok, like you're making something that they can use as an advertisement that's building trust with their audience, that's getting them sales. Like it really is a powerful and like valuable thing that you're creating. So don't think of it as your brain like, I don't know how much money this will be worth. Like if they come at you and ask you what your budget is, it's probably higher than you think it is to make content. I think that was a big mindset thing for me. Like looking back, my first sponsorship, I think I was charging like $80 a TikTok when I had like 50 to 100,000 like followers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just had no idea, because I just was in that mindset that like, this will only take me a few minutes, so I shouldn't be charging that much. But definitely it's more than you think.
Yeah, that's a really good lesson. And like my agency, like we see that a ton, because we're reaching out to creators all the time, and it just seems like there's such a wide range of prices out there. Like a lot of creators either don't know their worth, or even there's some on the other end where like they're charging ridiculous amounts. And it just seems like the pricing right now is all over the place. But more times than not, as a creator, you can charge more than you think, right? And that's something that, you said you've learned, I've learned myself too, right? The first time I ever did a sponsored post, I don't even remember what it was for. It's probably like $50, $100.
Yeah. And you think that's amazing. Like, that's amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And like, it was just one of those things, like they said like, hey, this is what we're offering. And I'm like, I've never done this before. Like, yeah,
awesome.
Sure. Let's do it. $100 again. It's take me 15 minutes.
Yeah. It's like, I was thinking more of like a side hustle for my business, rather than like, I could have been making 5-figure months, like off the bat doing this. But I just was like, oh, this is a fun little, this is like my fun money. I'll go out for dinner with this or something. Like, no, that could have been paying the bills.
I mean, there's a lot of creators that's what they do as their main revenue source, is like they'll just do, a couple sponsored posts a month, charge, $1,000 or $2 for a video. And like,
good to go.
That's the income right there, just from a couple of TikTok videos.